Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very fun video for you guys today. This one I've been looking forward to for a while and I kind of forgot about it. We are testing out some Korean makeup and skincare products today. I placed an order with YesStyle over a month ago and it finally showed up on my doorstep and we're putting everything to the test today. I've got a lot of skincare in here today and then some really interesting makeup products, including what is on my cheeks today. Might be a $4 dupe for the Kaja trios. I really am happy with how everything turned out. I'm excited about the very interesting skincare products that I picked up, which I am not usually excited by skincare, but these kind of excited me. I hope you guys are excited about it. Before we get into all of the products, I want to give you a special welcome if you are new here. Please consider subscribing and make sure that your notifications are turned on. With that said, we have a lot of stuff to get into, so let's get to it. Alright, so I have a bunch of skincare here today. I don't do a lot of skincare videos on my channel, so if you are a skincare junkie, this is going to be a pleasant surprise for you. I've been watching a lot of Nikki LaRoe's videos, and she does a lot of, she's very skincare focused, and it made me realize, you know, you're in your mid-40s, Mandy, you should probably focus a little bit more on your skincare. But one of the things that she talks about a lot is using a toner as a skincare prep step, and I think the one that she uses one from Fenty, but I thought I would try picking one up with my YesStyle order, and I went with this one. This is from the brand Anua, A-N-U-A. It's the Peach 77 Niacin Essence Toner. So let me just read for you guys what this says. It says 70% of peach extract fermented at a low temperature for 120 hours. Fermented ceramide, galactomyces fermented filtrate, and bifida fermented lysate deliver deep nutrition to the skin to give smooth and moist skin. I have no idea what any of those things are. A lot of fermented things, which I hear is good for your skin. I did read some of the reviews on this one. A lot of people seem to really like it, which I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna apply this first, and then I actually also have some hyaluronic acid eye patches that we're gonna be using today. This is so unlike me, you guys. I do not do stuff like this for my makeup or even for my skincare. I'm pretty basic when it comes to my skincare. Okay, so this is very it's very thick. For being a liquid, it kind of reminds me, I don't know, of like a gel-like liquid. It smells very subtly peachy, but not overly fragrance. It's just a light peach scent. So I'm just gonna rub this everywhere. Oh, by the way, I have a cold sore on my lip. It just does not want to go away. It started super tiny and it just seems like it's not huge yet. I don't get cold sores very often. I get maybe one every year or two. Not sure what caused this one, but who knows? Stress, probably. So this feels really nice. It's not like an acid toner, like a glycolic acid. I do sometimes use a glycolic acid toner as part of my skincare routine. This one feels much more gentle and kind of moisturizing, maybe. Pretty nice. Time will tell whether that's a win, but for now, that feels really nice. Let's go ahead and add some eye patches and kind of let those soak in. Probably not something I'll do often, but again, Nikki does it, so I should probably do it too. Holy smokes, these things are weird. Have you guys ever used eye patches? I have never used an eye patch before. In fact, I don't even know the right way to put these on. I think that you go like this, so this side, like closest to your eye. Oh dear. This feels so weird. This is definitely not something I will do all the time. Oh, that feels so good. It's like so nice and cool. Oh boy. I feel like you probably are not supposed to use your fingers. My fingers are very clean, but I think this one's already flipping down. Oh dear. So I'm gonna let these sit there for a few minutes and I'll show you guys a couple other skincare products that I got while I look super crazy. Okay, I also got a 10% azelaic acid serum. I used to use azelaic acid for my acne. I actually have a son that's a teenager. He's having a little bit of acne trouble, and I kind of got this for him. I'm hoping that maybe it will work for him. So I actually had a dermatologist put me on a form of this before, years and years ago, when I was like pregnant with my third kid. I had some major cystic acne. My dermatologist put me on an azelaic acid treatment that was supposed to help with both the acne and also the scarring. So maybe I could get some use out of this too with some of my, I have a couple of like areas that tend to scar. I also picked up the CosRx Vitamin C, Super Vitamin E, and Hyaluronic Acid Serum. So I am just about out of my vitamin C serum, so I picked this one up as kind of a replacement. And then I also picked up this. These are vitamin C pads. So they're basically like the, do you remember like the Noxema pads? I don't even know if they make those anymore. That was such a thing when I was a teenager back in the 90s, but these are just pads that are filled with a vitamin C kind of serum, kind of more of like a vitamin C toner. So I think there are, how many, 120 pads in here? Not even close, 70 pads in here. So I don't know, I might use these like once a day. Maybe I'll even cut them in half to try and get some longevity out of them. I used to use some exfoliating pads on my skin at one point, and I used to cut those in half because I didn't feel like I needed the whole thing. So I think these have been sitting here for about 5 minutes. They're already starting to feel a little bit dry, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull them off. Gosh, I hate to throw these away. Obviously I need to throw them away. You don't put them back into the container. I just feel like there's still product on here. Like maybe I should like tap it in some other places that are dry. I'm just gonna tap the rest of that serum in. That's a nice serum. I wonder if they just sell the serum alone, whatever is in here. What I'm gonna do now, I actually don't have a new foundation, a K-Beauty foundation and concealer, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some foundation and concealer. I'm just gonna use my Mise-On Smell Repair BB cream today. Before I do that though, I need to add some moisturizer. I just realized I put toner on my face and the eye patches and I didn't put a moisturizer on top. I'm just gonna use this sample of Tatcha. Tatcha is technically made in Japan, so it kind of is a Korean beauty that's also sold at Sephora. I actually really love this skin cream. I don't use it very often because I leave it down here with my makeup. So usually by the time I'm putting my makeup on, I've already put on my moisturizer or my day cream. Okay, and then we're gonna throw on a bit of my Smell Repair BB cream. I'm gonna add just a little bit of I'm just using my Revlon Flex Concealer where I need it. Then I'll come back and we will get into the makeup that I did pick up. I have an eyeshadow palette here. I have a highlight, blush, and contour little trio that looks a lot like the Kaja trios. And then I have some brow products, some eyeliners, even some individual lashes that we're gonna try out. So I will be right back. Okay, there's foundation and concealer. I did add a little bit of my Flower Beauty lightest, I think it's just in the shade Ivory concealer, just to that inner corner and kind of my eyelid right there. Let me show you guys what I picked up as far as makeup goes. So first off, I did get an eyeshadow palette. I got this little trio right here. This is so cute. I love these colors. It's gonna match me perfectly today. I also picked up this little trio that looked online just like the little Kaja trios. Now this is a highlight, blush, and contour or bronzer trio. It's about the size of the Kaja eyeshadow trio, so that's my only initial complaint with this. Ooh, and already looking at this highlighter. Oh, actually it's not terrible. Actually kind of looks like the color of like Precious Petals from Wet n Wild. Probably will work for me. This is the blush, and then this is the bronzer or contour. A little on the small side. It might be a bit of an issue with some of my brushes, but we're gonna make it work. It is pretty cute, and I think this thing was very cheap. I wanna say this was only like $4 for this little trio, and they had a couple different shade options. I also picked up this Slim Gel Eyeliner. This is from the brand, I think it's Mersey. I've never tried this brand. Yeah, it's very tiny. I mean, that's slim, but it's also miniature. It's a retractable little eyeliner pencil. I think this is supposed to be waterproof or water resistant, if I remember reading right. And this color is, oh boy, written in Korean. Ah, there we go. It's Bronze Opal. Let me just swatch this really quickly on the back of my hand for you guys. Okay, so it's basically, this looks exactly like the shade of my Simma Brown now, just like a charcoaly dark brown. And then from that same brand, I also picked this up. This is just a regular retractable gel eyeliner. This one is in the shade Dutch Brown. Very similar in shade. Actually, they look identical in shade, just this one's a little bit thicker, obviously not quite as precise. It feels a little creamier as well. The other one felt a little bit more stiff. I picked up another Peri Para Speedy Skinny Brow. I love this brow pencil. I've used it several times. This one is in the shade 9 Taupe Brown. And then I also picked up this brow gel from Unleasha. I have tried this brand out before. I've tried an eye pencil from them. So this is just their like clear brow gel. Ooh, it's kind of like a milky clear. I'm very, very curious about this. I thought that I remember seeing like a, there we go. So if you pull this part off, it actually has like a comb and a brush. Not sure how I feel about that. It looks kind of cool. I think the packaging of this is super cute. I think likely I would just prefer a normal spoolie on the top, but we're gonna give it a try today, see how it holds up. And then last, I also picked up some individual lashes. So these are just little clusters, and then these are just single individual, well, they're clusters, but they're much smaller, and they come in different lengths. So you get the shorter ones and then the longer ones. You might try a couple of those out at the end. One more thing I picked up is a sharpenable brow pencil. This is from McQueen, New York. I've tried this brand out before. This is in the shade Soft Beige. Let's give it a little swatch really quick. Ooh, this is very stiff, but in a good way. Actually, if I'm gonna get a sharpenable pencil like this for my brows, I would rather it be stiff so I can get more precision out of it. Some of the pictures they had of the sharpenable brow pencils, they had them sharpened in a way like you would sharpen a construction pencil, like the Home Depot pencils with a razor blade, like they're kind of flattened, which I thought was really cool. I don't know if I'm gonna try that today because I don't really trust myself with a razor blade. I've had some issues with razor blades and stitches before, so I think we're just gonna use it while it's nice and sharp as is, but that's something I might have to try. I don't know if that's a technique that pros out there use or if it's just a Korean thing, but it looks kind of fun to me, and I thought it was like, that's a great idea to get like a nice angle on your pencil. So why don't we start off with the brows? I do want to try this pencil out today because I've already used this Speedy Skinny Brow before. So why don't we just give this a try? I did already brush my brows upright a little bit. Now normally like a pencil like this, I don't really go for something like this for my brows. If I'm using a pencil, I prefer a skinny brow pencil. But this thing I think was only like $3. So I kind of just threw it in my cart because why not? And I was just so curious about that sharpening method that I thought maybe I would try that one day. Maybe I'll have my husband sharpen it for me with his razor blade. Okay, I'm actually gonna go over to my brow gel and just use the brush from this for right now. Ooh, this is nice and stiff. That's actually good. For a pencil that is not precise, because it's so stiff, you can actually get some decent precision out of it, and it goes on pretty quick, and the shade is just right for me. Like a good, mousy, kind of cool, medium brown. Now let's give this brow gel a try. This is pretty hefty. There's clearly a lot of product in here. This is very goopy. There is a lot of product on here. It kind of reminds me of the Milk makeup. Actually, before we go to the other side, I feel like I should probably brush this out. I will keep you guys posted on how this sets, like how stiff it is, if it gets like a white cast in it. So many things can go wrong with the brow gel. I don't know. They're not all created equal. Okay, I'm definitely starting to feel it dry, and it's like, I think this is gonna be kind of stiff, which could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you like your brow gel to be. If you have really stubborn brows and you don't mind something that's just gonna lock them in, but some people I think don't like the feel of the stiffer eyebrow. I can kind of tell over on this side where I did apply a little bit too much. It's definitely feeling more glue-like, like a very kind of like Elmer's gluey, like it's really tightening up around the edges. I can feel it. It's getting very stiff. So this side I applied a little less. It doesn't seem to be quite as stiff and goopy over on this side. Okay, we're gonna let those finish drying and we're gonna move on to the eyeshadow palette. So this is from the brand Pink Flash. I got the RD02 trio. They had several different options. So we're gonna just throw this on, just start with this mid-tone shade. Really good color story if you're just looking for something basic. It's kind of more of it's a mix between like a brown and a pink. It's like a pink toned brown. Berry tone brown, sort of. Ooh, very nice and pigmented. That actually surprised me. I was not expecting that. Maybe it's a little more than I needed. Let's see if I can do this eye look in like 30 seconds. I bet that I can. This is going on really quickly. All right, let's move over with a smaller blending brush to this darker shade. I love reddish browns like this. Just a little bit here on the outer corner. It's definitely very red toned, but it's still relatively neutral if you don't mind something very kind of reddish orange. Very nice and warm. Take a tiny bit just on the tip of this small brush and just go under this outermost corner of my lower lash line, kind of meet up with the crease. I'm gonna run back to the sponge that I used for my concealer and just kind of clean up that line underneath. I don't want too much of that color down because it is so red. Now let's add the shimmer on top. Let's go with a brush for this. I'm gonna take my BK Beauty A505. It's like a pretty champagne. Ooh, perfect. Beautiful. That actually goes on great with a brush. This is probably the best combo of eyeshadows or palettes that I've tried from a Korean beauty brand so far. Some of the palettes that I'll pick up will have a really kind of a textured, chunky shimmer in them that I just don't like that type of a shimmer. I like something just like a good metallic or a standard shimmer. This definitely seems more in line with what I typically like. There we go. I'm just gonna go back to that larger blending brush. That shade was a little bit brighter than I was anticipating, so I'm just gonna blend this edge to get some of that matte shadow back. There we go. Okay, let's add some eyeliner. So I have a couple of eyeliner options. I really want to try the tiny eyeliner first. I'm curious how much product is inside here because it is so tiny, but I love that very microfine size. Want to do more of like a precise wing, this would be a great product for that. Add a little bit to the waterline as well. Actually, for the waterline, why don't we use my other one? I don't want to waste the tiny pencil on my waterline. Keep it for just the wing. Very inky and dark. Very, very opaque. It's almost more of a blackish brown even than my Wet n Wild. It's a very, very dark brown. I'm going to go with the larger one and just use this on my waterline very lightly. Okay, I do not have any mascara today, but let's stick with the K-Beauty. I'm gonna go with my Tony Moly Panda Dream Mascara. This I picked up on Amazon, but you can get Tony Moly products on YesStyle as well. Okay, eyes are done. Let's move on to my little trio here. Let's start with the bronzer at the bottom. That's so tiny. That's okay. Hopefully my brush will fit in. We're gonna use the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A507 today. Actually, let me give this a little swatch. It looks a little pink toned to me, or like rosy toned. Actually, I'm not opposed to a rosier toned bronzer, but let's start kind of light. By the way, I should tell you guys what shade this is. This is the shade 2. I think the shade 1 looked a little, I can't remember why I didn't like shade number 1. It's actually possible it was out of stock. Sometimes they'll be out of stock on some of the shade options, so I might have just gone with what was available at the time. Actually really like that shade. It is more of like, it's almost a blush shade. You could kind of use this for either. So if you like blushy toned bronzers, this is a good shade for that. It's more of a rosy color than it is a brown. I'm curious what the blush is gonna look like. Okay, let's jump over to the blush. So here is what the blush looks like, kind of a nice, just corally warm pink. We're gonna take that, let's go with this, my old Real Techniques blush brush. Kind of tap that on there. We're just gonna put this kind of right in the center, the high apples. It's a pretty pigmented blush. It's actually stronger than I was anticipating. Let's go over to my little sponge that I used for my concealer. Just tap around the edges there, kind of blend those together. If you're very fair skinned, this might be a little bold for you, but pretty. I really like the colors. Let's try the highlighter out. This is the one I'm probably the most worried about as far as the shade working for me. Hope it's not too dark. I have a little bit of a tan right now, so I think we'll be able to get away with this. It does have a pretty strong gold shift to it, so if you don't like that, just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's definitely quite gold, but it's very pretty. If I was any fairer than I am right now, it probably would be too dark for me. It is quite strong, so if you have a lot of texture, and I do have a little bit of texture here, you probably can see it will emphasize, but not bad. I kind of like that. Pretty good across the board. I like when I have like either a face palette or a trio or a quad or something, and all of the shades end up working out for me. It really is disappointing to me when one of the 3 or 4 doesn't work out. I'm just very unlikely to use it if it's not, like if I'm just reaching for it for 1 or 2 shades. I'm much less likely to use it on the regular. This seems to work pretty well, so not a bad $3 or $4 spent. All right, the last thing I want to do, I am so curious to try out these little individual lashes. I don't do these very often. In fact, it has been a long time since I have put on individual lashes, but we're gonna try it today. I'm just gonna throw a couple on. I think I'll put maybe one of the longer ones in the outer corner, maybe like one of the medium ones towards the center. So the longest ones here are 12 millimeters. Let's start with those. I'm gonna grab my tweezers. Okay, then I'm gonna grab my Duo Lash Glue. I'm just gonna throw this one right in the outer corner. Okay, these are very, very subtle. I think if I didn't have mascara on, they might show up a little bit better. I'm almost wondering if these are gonna show up at all. Okay, so that took a minute. Those were not that easy to put on, partly because they're so tiny. The clusters are so tiny, I had a hard time getting them to stick to my lash line, and also I couldn't really see them that much. I feel like if I had a lighter layer of mascara, maybe used a few more, they're gonna take me some practice is I guess basically what I'm trying to say. So jury's still out on the individual lashes. I'll try these ones. They look a little bit more, the clusters look a little bit more dramatic. I'll let you know if either of these end up working really well for me. As for the finished look, I'm actually really happy with how the eye makeup came out today and also the face makeup. I'm actually really happy with that little tiny trio. The size is a bit odd for the face, but as far as how it performed, the colors all look amazing. Even the highlighter I think is really pretty. And this would actually be very beautiful on the eyes as well. So if nothing else, get this for the eyeshadow. They did have, as I mentioned, I think 2 other options. I will link everything down below for you guys in case you're interested. And I'm pretty sure this was under $5. So not too shabby. As for the other things that I was really impressed with, very happy with the eyeshadow. I actually really like how this eyeshadow look turned out. The performance was really, really good. Everything went on very, very quickly and blended well. Probably the thing, like the most interesting thing or the most exciting thing for me is actually the brow gel. My brows, it is a soft hold, but it's a strong hold. It's not super stiff, but you can tell that these are like locked in. It's very, very interesting. It's kind of like a soft glue is kind of how I would describe this, which I actually like. I like the kind of soft texture that it gave my eyebrows, but you can tell like these are really, really well set. So if you have a hard time finding brow gels that will hold your stubborn eyebrows in place, this might be one you might want to look into because I'm actually really impressed with how my brows look with this. Even the brush on the end was really nice and stiff, which ended up working pretty well for me. So very happy with this. I also really like the tiny eyeliner. I mean, this probably is not gonna last me very long, but if you like the idea of a pencil liner, but you like the precision of a gel liner or a liquid liner, this might be something you might want to check out. I'll let you guys know how this wears after I've tested it out a little bit longer. I'll keep you posted on that. But so far, I'm actually really happy with this very nice defined tiny baby wing. And that's pretty much my thoughts on everything so far. I will keep you guys updated and posted on the skincare. That obviously is going to take me a little bit of time. My skin feels great, very nice and hydrating. So far I have very high hopes. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. I love doing these Korean beauty videos. I know they are not everyone's cup of tea, but some of my best makeup and skincare discoveries have always come from YesStyle or Stylevanna orders, or even from Amazon, K-beauty brands that are found on Amazon. Don't overlook the Korean beauty and skincare. They have some fantastic makeup products that are super good quality, kind of unique, and very, very affordable. So that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Let me give you one final reminder. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you do that before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Where else could I use these? I feel like my neck could use some hyaluronic acid. Maybe we'll do